Hey my sweets, and welcome back to the kitchen. Today you guys, we are in the kitchen. We are going to make us some delicious bourbon chicken pasta, you guys. This recipe, you all, I have came up with this recipe because I wanted to do something different for my kids this evening, and I just thought, hey, why not use some of the pantry staples, things that I have already, here with me. Don't have to run out to the grocery store and get it. So the ingredients that you see is what I had at home. Didn't go out to get it, but I just thought I'll throw this together and let's just see what it do. So we have our garlic, we got our mixed seasoning blend, which is some parsley. We got onion powder, garlic powder, and we have Cajun seasoning. So I'm showing you guys step by step what I'm doing. We got us some chicken thighs because the chicken thighs are actually pretty juicy compared to using chicken breasts. I prefer it better because, like I said, it's easy to sear, for one. Two, is juicy, and I just like using the thighs better. So instead of you going to the store and buying the already, skinless thighs, I'm showing you exactly what I do to have skinless thighs because, hey, we all know that prices are high, and any way that you can cut back on your prices on your groceries, look, learn to do some things for yourself. I skin these things myself. Take off excess fat, whatever fat you want to take off, but I advise that you leave just a little bit so it will make the searing process better, and it holds flavor once you put the seasoning and everything on it. So it's very flavorful. So you guys, like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching and supporting. For all my ride or dies, hey, I appreciate you guys so very much. But like I said, we into this video right now. We're doing our bourbon chicken pasta, you guys. It is so flavorful, impact with a lot of flavor and juicy. Now, these bones that you see me taking the meat off of, you can actually use it as stock. Instead of throwing it, discarding it, you can use the bone because it has meat on it. You can use it and make your own homemade chicken stock. So one day I'm going to do a video on that, and I'm going to show you guys this technique, okay? So, hey, I'm a home chef who loves to cook. So any way I can share a little nugget of knowledge, I will do so. So like I said, I'm cleaning the chicken. I'm deboning it. I'm going to cut them into diced pieces, not tiny, not overly large, but just nice bite-sized pieces. So again, it's easy to sear, and it'll be enough for my family that I'm cooking for. You don't have to cook in this large variety. And you see, there it go, diced up, nice and precise the way you want it. But like I said, I'm cooking for a large crowd. You don't have to cook this much. You can actually decrease the size of the amount that I'm using to fit your needs. Okay, so we add some cornstarch on top. And here's our seasoning blend that we're using, that we're going to add onto the meat. And I'm doing this process this way because I want the meat to take on the flavors. And so adding the cornstarch helps the seasoning to adhere to the meat, okay? So you're going to see me drizzle some of that bourbon sauce on there, just a little bit to get it started so it can soak up all that good flavor before we actually get into the searing process. And you guys, let me tell you, this kitchen was like smelling up something, okay? It was smelling so good. Ooh, I wanted to eat that meat, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta save it for my children because this is a family meal. But I love bourbon chicken, you guys. So You are going to very much enjoy this recipe. I hope and pray that you will try it for yourself. And let me know about it by leaving comment messages and hit me up in my inbox, okay? So we're going to dice up some fresh garlic. You guys, you don't see me often dicing up fresh garlic because I don't like the stickiness of garlic. So, but what you can do, go to your local grocery store and you can find the already peeled garlic. And what I do to preserve it, is I put it in my fridge and I put it in an airtight container so that it would not get spoiled easily. So you guys, that's what I do, and I'm dicing these up. I'm going to actually mince it as far as I can get it because it's going to cook down as I sear it with the onions and everything. But before I do that, I want to make sure that it is to the size where, it actually cooked down pretty easily. So I'm fine with this, the way it looks, okay? So we're going to move on to the next. We're going to dice up our onions. Okay, so the trick is the dicing up onions. Before, if you're a crier, please put your onions in the freezer before you get to cutting and dicing, okay? It makes the process a little bit easier. That's an old school trick that I learned actually from my mom, and it helped. And so right now, I'm at the point where onions does not burn my eyes at all. So it's, chop and go and I'm done, But for my beginner cooks, please put it into the freezer a good maybe 10-15 minutes before you actually want to use the onions because it reduces the pungentness. So there you go. Nice and diced. All right, so we're going on to our green onions. Nice and diced, same process. While we were doing that, we put our water on to boil for our pasta. And I put an ample amount of salt because at the end, I'm going to render some of that pasta water and put it back into my pasta, okay? So it's very important to salt your pasta water so it has flavor in your pasta, okay? We don't want bland pasta, okay? We're going to put in some vegetable oil, any oil of your choice that has a high smoke heat, okay? So when you're searing, you want to make sure that you don't use oil that burns fast. It has to be able to handle high temperature, okay? So we put in our chicken pieces and we want to make sure that they have an ample amount of space so that it won't get crowded and stick together, because cornstarch will make it stick together if it fries together. So we let that sear and you see the color on the chicken. That's what you're looking for. You're not trying to cook it all the way through, but you're just trying to get a nice sear on both sides as possible, okay? So if you have one of these spider things that I have, I scoop my chicken up and that leaves some of that oil back in that pot and not so much on my napkin as I'm trying to drain the oil off my chicken. So I'm doing my chicken in batches, you guys, so that it won't overcrowd the pan. It won't reduce the heat, because if you put a lot of meat in a pan that you're searing, it's going to reduce the heat. So this is the end result as you saw how my chicken looked. Now we enter in our pasta. We're going to cook that pasta until it's al dente, and then we're going to drain it, and then we're going to reserve some of the pasta water. Do not forget that step. Meanwhile, it's optional to add in the broccoli. I have the broccoli on the back. I'm steaming it. I'm not cooking it all the way through to where it's like really tender. I'm actually letting it cook to where it has a little bit of bite left. But that's my chicken. We're doing our last batch of the chicken. Now we're going to drain our pasta, okay? And like you see me just stop. I didn't drain all the water out because I'm reserving the water, and I'm gonna scoop the rest of that out into the pan. But see, that's the rest of the reserved pasta water that I'm going to use to put inside the pasta, okay? Believe me, it adds a ton of flavor, okay? So now we're preparing our pan to do what? Our next step. And you see how I leave the seasoning behind, because that is very important. We love to cook with seasoning, so the residual from the chicken is in that pan, and we're going to saute our onions and our garlic. So our garlic, we are going to saute until it's fragrant, okay? And fragrant means like you start to smell the garlic. And so it's not so much as like searing the garlic or anything like that, but you get to smell it because it's going to cook down the rest of the way as you put it into the pasta mixture that you'll see later on in the video. But we're going to, you know, shift it around because we don't want it to stick to the pan. But at the same time, we are taking all of that flavor that's left in the pan, and it's going to get onto those onions and those garlic pieces. You guys, when I tell you that cooking like this, step by step and in batches, it helps so much to build flavor, okay? Because I love to build flavor, and I want you guys to do the same. You know, when you have a passion for cooking, you take your time and do things. You don't try to rush through everything, but some recipes you can get away with 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and you know, it's done. But recipes like this, when you want to build the flavor, you want to take your time. So we're moving on, and we're going to go ahead and start our mixture for our pasta. So I'm using some heavy cream. Now, you don't have to use heavy cream. You can use, you know, milk if you choose to, but I choose heavy cream. Why? Because I think it's a little bit richer and it has that little bit of oomph, you know, to it. So you see, this is the point where I'm ready to take off my onions and my garlic, okay? So it's not seared. That's all that seasoning in that pan, you guys. So I'm going to add that into my milk. And we're not going to boil the milk. We're going to get it to like a low boil, not so much as high boil. So that's why I showed you that I put the fire at a low fire. So it's like a low. If you have an electric stove, just put it on medium low, okay? Because we don't want to scorch our milk. We want the flavor to stay consistent. We don't want to taste any scorch, and we don't want to taste any burned flavor, okay? So now I'm adding in that seasoning mix. Again, that's Cajun seasoning, that's parsley, that's for the color. And then we got onion powder, garlic powder, and then, of course, the water has the salt in it. So you want to be very mindful of the salt intake. And then we got the bourbon that has salt in it too. So we don't want to overly salt our dish, okay? So I'm being very strategic in how I put this dish together, okay? So the butter, of course, y'all, is make everything taste better, and that is salted butter as well. So, like I said, be very mindful of the salt intake. But, like I said, this dish is the bomb, y'all. Oh my gosh. Again, if you're liking this video so far, and I pray that you are, please hit the like button. It helps my video to be, you know, exposed to others so they can enjoy my way and my technique of cooking, because this is truly something I love to do. So I'm putting in the bourbon sauce in the pan. Of course, I'm still using that same pan that has all that flavor in it. So you guys, we are continuously building flavor. And I'm going to let this come to a low boil as well. Now I decided to put a little extra. You can, with this bourbon sauce, I actually used the whole bottle, to tell you the truth. I used the whole bottle because I wanted that extra juice to go across my pasta, you know what I mean? So I'm adding in the chicken pieces, and the chicken pieces is going to absorb all of that juice, okay? It's going to coat it. You're going to coat it real well. You're going to cook it down for about maybe 10 minutes or so. All in all, this dish had took me about 30 minutes to complete. And that is also including my prep time, that with the onions and the garlic and all of that good stuff you saw earlier. Okay, so we're gonna coat the meat very well, and we're gonna let that cook down for about 10 minutes so it can just take on all of that flavor from that bourbon sauce. Oh my gosh, I am like, my mouth is watering just looking at it, you know, telling you guys about it. It's good. I want you guys to try this recipe, okay? So, again, let it cook down for like 10 minutes or so, and we're going to complete this meal as soon as possible. And you guys just watch and see. Oh my gosh. Layering that onion on top of that chicken, it just added another extra layer of flavor. Okay, this part is optional if you don't like green onions, but I advise you do so, you guys. But if you don't like green onions, you can always use not scallion, but you can always use shallots is what I'm trying to tell you. You can use shallots if you don't like green onions. Okay. All right, you guys, so in this part, I'm going to add in my broccoli, my steamed broccoli, into my milk mixture, along with that seasoning that I put in there, the onions and garlic. So it's all coming together, you guys. Like I said, this is a 30-minute dish, you guys, so it didn't take long at all. So it's just step by step that I'm showing you that will enhance this flavor of this dish, and you will love it. So we're going to add in our pasta now. And quite frankly, I did not have a big enough pot that I just thought that, oh my God, I'm just putting too much pasta in my pot, it's going to overflow. But it actually worked out because like I said, this is the only pot that I had that was big enough that I think would hold all of this pasta. So you saw me add in the pasta water, and then I added in my cheese. Now, as you see me stir, I'm stirring very carefully because I don't want to make a mess and it's just going to be all over the stove. So I'm, just going deep, and I'm lifting out and everything, and just making sure every pasta noodle is covered. And you guys, when I say this was like creamy, so the amount of cheese you're going to use, you use it to your discretion. If you want a little more cheesier, then you can add more cheese if you like. At this point, this was good enough for us because I didn't want to overpower it to be too cheesy. Okay, so here is my ending dish, you guys. Look at it. It looks delicious and so divine. You guys, I want to thank you if you made it all the way to this point in the video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for just supporting my channel. And always did I tell you, keep God first in everything that you do. He loves you, He cares for you, and He will provide for you. I am a living witness of that. So thank you all again for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And you guys have a blessed evening. Bye.